Selection will challenge you in more ways than one. The challenges I had when I went to selection is going to be different than what somebody else experienced. I've surveyed over 20 dudes, and today I'm going to give you a list of the top 5 challenges that those guys experience at selection. I'm hoping in sharing those challenges with you, you could plan for them, you could expect them, and that'll help you get through SFAS and move on to the Q course. If this is your first time watching me, my name is Jay. I'm an Active Duty Green Beret, slowly inching my way towards retirement. The intent behind this channel is to share my knowledge and wisdom with the next generation of soft soldiers. So if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe to help me reach that goal. I appreciate it. First, we'll start off with my challenge. My number one challenge at SFAS was operating in the dark. So I grew up in New York City, and everything that I've done in the military prior to going to selections, I've always been under night vision. So when I went to selection, and the first week wasn't too bad because even though I was running on the trails, I still had a headlamp on and I can figure out what was going on, so on and so forth. But when I hit land nav and it was completely pitch black and you're by yourself and you're expected to navigate from one point to another without using light, that threw me off. It took me a while to learn how to do that. The first night was horrible. Like, I literally didn't find any of my points. Mainly because I didn't know how to navigate at night. Like, I've practiced it at Fort Riley, Kansas, but once I got to selection, the terrain was different, the vegetation was heavy. Like, it took me a while to figure that out. But once I did, I was able to hit the ground running and I did just fine. So I want to share that with you because I want you to know that if you've never operated in the dark, that's something that's coming. So if I were you, this is what I would do. I would go on rucks at night, just around your neighborhood, wherever you live. Instead of rucking in the morning or in the afternoon, just go at nighttime and don't use your headlight. Just get used to walking on pavement at night. And once you get comfortable with that, transition to rough terrain and just walk that at night so your eyes get used to it and your mind get used to it. So when you hit selection, it's not your first time actually doing it and you don't freak out. Moving on to number 2, guys, and that is down pilot. Now, once you get to the 3rd week of selection, you're going to be faced with a variety of obstacles as far as tasks that you need to accomplish. That's what team week is. But for some reason, I had multiple guys that identify down pilot as being, the soul crusher, the one that almost took them out of the runnings. Now, even though we knew exactly what down pilot is, for some reason, it still kicks us in the balls. The only advice I have for you as it relates to down pilot is make sure that you guys take the time to build an apparatus that makes sense. Don't worry about being the first team to step off. Take your time, build something that's going to support that weight, build something that everyone is in unison with, that everyone agrees with, and then step off. The time that you spent on the front end building that apparatus will pay off throughout your movement and on the back end. What you don't want is to throw something together thinking that it's going to work and then step off and you're stopping midway and rebuilding because whatever you built was shit. Challenge number 3, guys, is the amount of miles that guys have to put on their bodies down there. I did a video not too long ago detailing the amount of miles that you are going to run/ruck while you're out there at selection. I think it came up to about 244 miles in the span of 3 weeks. That is a lot of miles. I'm not saying to break yourself off and show up to selection broken, but what I'm saying is you want to condition your body to that amount of miles. So if you're not doing so already, you need to experience that before you get to selection, guys. Put some miles on your feet. Challenge number 4, guys, was the mental toughness aspect of it. A lot of guys didn't expect what they got at selection. They really didn't know what they were getting themselves into. More importantly, they didn't know why they were doing what it is that they were doing. And selection is meant to test that. So if you show up thinking that it's going to be a walk in the park and you're just doing it just to do it, you won't last past the first week, guys. Need to know exactly why you are going to selection and why you want to be an SF guy. Because if you don't, when the going gets going and they start peeling that onion back to figure out what you're made of, you're quickly going to find out that selection and being an SF guy is not for you. Challenge number 5, guys, was not knowing what was to come. So at selection, you're going to have a class leader. And every time something needs to be put out, they're going to write it on a board. And that class leader is responsible for going out there, checking the board, and passing on the information to you. So you're completely in the dark as far as what events are coming up next. Some guys can't deal with that. A lot of us are planners. We like to forecast what's going to happen. We like to take the necessary step to make sure that it happens accurately. A lot of guys can't deal with that at selection. So what they find themselves doing is, instead of focusing in the moment, they're drifting away to, oh man, I wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. I wonder when the 8-mile ruck is. I wonder how long the trek is. And they're not focusing on the task at hand. If you do that, you're going to end up not performing at the task that's at hand. So my advice for you as it relates to this is focus on the 10-meter target. I would always tell my guys that instead of worrying about, the 100-meter target when you're at the range, focus on taking care of that 10-meter target, the one that's right in front of you, as opposed to thinking about, man, let me try to reach that 300-meter target. You need to work your way to that 100-meter, to that 200, and to that 300-meter target. Focus on what's currently at hand, do the best that you can then, and when tomorrow comes, focus on that 10-meter target. So keep taking it 10 meters at a time until selection is completely over. Don't worry about stuff that you can't control. You can't control the fact that you don't know what the schedule is going to be. What you can do is keep your mind in check, and when the task comes down, getting after it and doing the best that you can. Guys, I hope this information was helpful. All right, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. And if you're an SF guy out there and you've experienced any challenges, please leave it in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.